You know, while this is a really significant bill, I almost wished that I wasn't standing here. The very fact that we had to introduce this bill in our battle against the dangers of fentanyl is really unprecedented. You know, fentanyl represents a threat to people's lives unlike anything we've ever seen before in our war against drugs. It is absolutely lethal. More than 75,000, almost 75,000 people died last year in the U.S. alone, and that number continues to mount. More than 200 people a day. So we're here to protect our community as best we can. You have some incredible speakers, but before I introduce the first one, I want to thank the first one. I want to thank our council member, Tyler Dos Tam, for his vision, his leadership, his persistence on making this bill a reality. So without any further ado, Tyler.
I also want to thank the mayor and his administration, and in particular our folks with the emergency management department for their leadership as well. We've seen what's been happening for years with the opioid crisis on the mainland, and we saw what happened just a few weeks ago in Waikiki. We can't keep letting tragedies like this happen. This is an example of Honolulu being a leader nationwide. We're the first major city in the US to mandate that bars and nightclubs carry naloxone. This is going to save lives. This is an area where we are taking leadership. We are at the forefront, and I hope that there are going to be more examples of us taking the reins on public health issues, being forward-thinking, because we do have to be leaders. We have people from all over the world coming to our shores. We want to make sure that they are safe here, that we are taking care of our residents as well, and so this is a really good example of this. I want to thank our bar owners as well. I know we have two of them here. A few weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, we did a distribution of Narcan, thanks to H3RC, to several of the bars here in Chinatown. A few days ago, I ran into one of the bar managers, and they've actually had to use one of the doses that we gave out just a week and a half ago because of a suspected overdose that happened at their bar. If we hadn't given this out a week and a half ago, we would be in a whole lot of trouble with the person who had the suspected overdose. This is a real-life example of this bill working, and we hope that we can work with the liquor licensees, work with the Liquor Commission to help roll this out. I do want to make special mention of the Liquor Commission because they have, their office has shown some real leadership here in being proactive and getting this out. I know that they've had challenges in the media, but this is an example of them working really positively, and we want to keep that momentum going. So that's it for me. I'll turn it back over. I'll actually turn it over now to Director Jim Ireland.
Good afternoon, everyone. Jim Ireland, Director, Honolulu Emergency Services. You know, a couple of years ago, we just didn't go in EMS on fentanyl overdoses. It just wasn't out there, or we'd go on it very rarely. About a year ago, we saw a big spike in cases, really quite significant. HPD and the DEA made some high-profile arrests. Those were in the news. We saw the cases drop. Recently, with the tragedy in Waikiki, again, we saw some high-profile arrests. We saw the cases drop. But sadly, each time, we've seen an uptick in the cases again. And I can say, unfortunately, in the last 2 weeks, we are now seeing an uptick in cases where before we were getting maybe one case a week. Now we're back up to 2 or 3 overdose cases a day. And these are happening all over. They're happening in people's homes, they're happening in businesses, they're happening in illegal game rooms, they're happening in people's cars. And majority of the people who are being found in an overdose scenario are not knowingly taking fentanyl. They think they're taking methamphetamine, they think they're taking cocaine. And in fact, when we wake them up and we save their life, they're quite shocked to find out they actually snorted a line of fentanyl or took a fentanyl pill that was counterfeit and to look like an OxyContin. You know, drug abuse is a problem across our country and in Hawaii. You know, but our family, our friends, no one's immune to this, and we hope for their recovery, and we hope that they can get help and get into a program to get off drugs. But while they're struggling, we don't want anybody to die. And what this Narcan does, by being given before the paramedics get there, it prevents people from slipping into a situation where they're not breathing or where they slip into cardiac arrest, because they're harder to save and sometimes impossible to save. If they're not found in time, there's nothing anybody can do. EMS, the ERs, anybody. So what this does is it wakes them up, it gives them time, it keeps them alive until EMS can get them to the hospitals to get them a definitive care. We're finding fentanyl so strong now that sometimes they need repeated doses. So getting a dose on board early, like in this scenario, at a bar or a club, potentially can make the difference in going home from the ER versus staying in the ICU for up to a month or even dying. When I came in earlier before you folks came, I noticed there was a fire extinguisher here. Why? Because in case of an emergency, you want that handy. Narcan, same thing. Hopefully they never have to use it, but it's here and available, and so in an emergency it can be deployed. We're telling everybody if you do deploy a Narcan and it's not needed, it's not going to hurt the person. The other thing is you need to call 911 because the person may be unconscious because of a diabetic issue or a seizure or a stroke, or they might just be super drunk. Regardless, EMS will come, we'll assess the patient, we'll start treatment, and we'll take them to the ER regardless. But it's not going to hurt them if you deploy the Narcan and it's not needed, and it potentially will save their life if they've overdosed from fentanyl or another narcotic such as heroin, and it'll wake them up. So thank you guys all for coming. I'd like to introduce our next speaker.
I'm Anna Hurai, Assistant Administrator at the Liquor Commission. I'd like to tell our licensees that as soon as we conclude this afternoon, we're going to upload to our website information regarding the Narcan starter kits. At close of business today, an email blast will go out to the 4,000 member email group from Liquor Commission containing the same information. So please visit, very helpful with QR codes and website addresses regarding the starter kits. The starter kits will be made available for free to licensees beginning August 1. And we chose that date deliberately because if you're a licensee, you know that the two most important dates in the year are June 30 for license renewals and July 31 for filing of gross liquor sales. So we wanted to get slightly beyond that July 31 deadline. We are going to prioritize the included businesses, which are the 6 license classes that are mentioned in Bill 28. But basically, any licensee that appears at the office and would like to get a starter kit will be given one while supplies last. But we do have over 500 starter kits to provide, and we're told, thank you again to Department of Health, ADAP, for providing us with the initial inventory, that we should be able to replenish that inventory as soon as possible. So thank you for this opportunity.
Aloha. Today is a monumental day to take this life-saving, very safe medication and put it into establishments that could really save lives. As you heard already from Council Member, just the ones from a couple weeks ago have already been utilized. Since Governor Ige signed Act 68 in 2016, the Hawaii Health and Harm Reduction Center, in collaboration with the Hawaii Department of Health and the City and County of Honolulu, have distributed over 50,000 doses, and we've already collected over 2,000 reports of saves. So what we know is, again, this is a very safe drug. In fact, the FDA is going to be making this over the counter, which hopefully will actually help our price point once this becomes over the counter. And that this amazing miracle drug should be, according to the Surgeon General of the United States, in everybody's hands. As you heard earlier from Director Ireland, this hits everybody. This is not just folks that you often think about might be at risk. This could be our kapuna who forget to maybe take extra pain medication. This could be somebody who's out enjoying a drink with their friends and think they're getting a type of pill and they get a counterfeit pill. So please learn more about naloxone, and we are distributing it as well. And you can go to hhhrc.org to learn more or to sign up, and we'll send you naloxone in the mail. And please learn more about this to save a life, and have a dialogue with somebody who might be struggling with substance use, because you're breaking the silence or doing this can save lives. Thank you.
Yeah, aloha. Thank you all for coming, and welcome to the Lay Stand. You know, as a fairly new establishment, we are 7 months open. There are a lot of challenges with any new establishment, especially in the food and beverage industry. And so when challenges like this, such as what is happening with fentanyl in our community, come up, it's just another added concern that we as business owners have to be worried about. And so we applaud Councilmember Dos Santos Tam as well as the mayor for their efforts and for providing this opportunity, especially for this community of food and beverage servers. we hope that we never have to use this. This is something, of course, that's preventative, but it's very comforting to know that should we have to embark on this and have to deploy this and use this, that it is available and that we can work to keep our patrons safe. I think this also extends to the work that the mayor has committed to in this area of Chinatown to really revitalize this area and keep this area safe. And we feel that this effort and this signing of the bill today is just another step in that direction to really keep our community safe from all types of hazards. So thank you all for being here.
All right, so I just would like to underscore that this is more than just a war against drugs. This is really a battle to save people's lives because of the pervasiveness and the incredible danger of this drug and other opioids that people are exposed to. So with that, I'm very proud now to sit down and sign this bill into law.